Hi, my name is Valkyrie, and thank you so much for returning to the Little Birds channel. How are you doing today? Leave a little response down in the comments if you want. And today, I'm going to be teaching you how to dream. No, I don't mean this in the metaphorical sense. I'm not going to teach you how to build your dream life. I'm really going to teach you how to fall asleep and build fantastical worlds in your head. When I look up how to dream, it has a lot to do with good habits. Going to bed on time, eating healthy, exercising, all of the good pillars of peak health. But there's a large majority of people that do all of these things and still don't get good dreams. There's a handful of people who, try as they might, may never get a dream at all. And this isn't a coincidence, my friends. There are a few fundamental reasons why you're not dreaming up to your potential, and I wanted to kind of outline a few of them in this video. For those of you who don't know, I've been lucid dreaming pretty much exclusively since I was 16, and ever since then, I've had a pretty good time remembering my dreams and creating worlds in my head, and dreaming is something that I love to do, and I'm really passionate about sharing with people. So enough jab, let's just hop into it. Step 1 is to daydream often. This may be counterintuitive to some. But Valkyrie, if I fall asleep in the daytime, I won't get good sleep at the nighttime. Daydreaming doesn't mean you have to physically go to sleep every time you shut off your brain for once. It just means that you have to stop thinking so hard in the moment and start dreaming about the actual worlds that you want to create. Can you remember the last thing you daydreamed in detail about something? Most of the time when we daydream, we're always jogged back into work or school, and we forget that daydreaming is actually a way to relieve yourself from the natural stressors of life. Daydreams are a way to explore that conscious noggin of yours. And the more you do it, the more you can easily allow yourself to shift into that subconscious exploration when you're asleep. Now, I'm not telling you to daydream all the time, don't slack off in work, get everything done that you're supposed to. But I am telling you that there's no reason to be really that afraid of drifting once in a while. This kind of leads me to my next point, which is step 2, get bored. Being bored is some of the best creative fuel on the planet. And you don't need to microdose on shrooms or get amped up on coffee to get real work done here. All you need to do is sit on your bed with no distractions and do nothing. My boyfriend uses this kind of rule all the time in the form of meditation. Whenever he feels like he can't concentrate, he sits on our couch or lays down somewhere and just closes his eyes and tries to concentrate on nothing. Whenever he feels like he can't concentrate, he goes to meditate, sits for 5 minutes on the couch or lays somewhere and just closes his eyes, not moving, not thinking, to remind himself of what it feels like to be bored. It not only clears your head, but when you're trying to be productive, it kind of reminds you of how boring just sitting there is and is a lot more likely to motivate you to do your work. So yeah, getting bored can set you on the right track, but it also helps with sleep. When you're bored, maybe you're thinking about work. Maybe you're thinking about your family. Maybe you're thinking about that one time that girl threw a basketball in your hand and you tried to catch it, but instead you jammed your middle finger onto it and you thought for sure it was broken. And on and on and on until you almost start to jog yourself into thinking of new things. We hate being bored, and we'll do a lot of things to keep ourselves from being that way. This could be in the form of meditation or manifestation or even in dreams. But the point of the matter is, the more bored you are, the more likely you are to create worlds and different stories that you'll remember for much longer than if you were to just meditate and not think about anything and not let your mind wander. This might be a TMI, but I used to have to bring my laptop or my phone or some electronic device into the bathroom every time I peed. TMI, I don't know. I would just sit on the toilet and scroll on my phone or watch something on my computer, and I can definitively say that I wasn't bored. When I didn't have electronics at my disposal, I actually panicked and became just really irritated to the point of just mad frustration. But once I started going to the bathroom like a regular person, I was able to just get bored for a while. I started cooking up ideas in my brain about things I wanted to make or new things I was thinking about or even ideas that I had been writing about and talking to others about that I had just let sink into my brain. Believe it or not, sitting on the toilet is a great outlet for creativity. All through the exploration of initial boredom. Step 3 is something that everyone will tell you, but read more books. I'm sure every self-development video you've ever watched has told you to read more books. But before you start imagining your own worlds, it might be easier to start by imagining worlds that people have already created for you. Do you ever get that feeling when you're reading a book and you finish it and you have this idea of what characters are supposed to look like in your head, and then you watch the movie and it's completely something different? For most, that would feel a little bit weird. You've invested time into this book and creating this world in your head, and it should feel weird. Once you get to that point where you're attached to these characters, you've created a reality in which you've created that connection, and that's great. Once you get that down, you've established a connection with the people in that world and the things around it, and that's a pretty efficient way to start dreaming, lucid dreaming, having better sleep, etc. Once you've gotten a handle on creating solid worlds and characters from the books that you've read, you can naturally start to float into other worlds where, let's say you have a character that you imagined flying as their superpower, and then thinking about, oh, what if they had mind control, and then what if they took over the world, and then what if it turned into an alien unicorn battle, whatever your heart desires. It's all about imagination. And it'll actually become super helpful in the long run, not just with dreams and remembering your dreams, but with creativity, in writing, and even speaking. So do it. Read more books. I'd say those are the biggest fundamental things that have to do with having good dreams and good sleep in general, but there's a few other things that I wanted to tack on here at the end. I had a dream journal for a long time, and even when I wouldn't write down my dreams, I would talk to someone pretty much immediately after I woke up about them. It may be just rolling over and telling my boyfriend about something wacky that happened in my sleep. It might be calling my mom and telling her that way, but either way, I speak my dream into existence. I'm a big proponent of the notion that if you don't speak something into existence through some medium, whether that be actually speaking it or writing it, it doesn't exist. So speak those dreams into existence, write them in a dream journal, talk to someone about it, just have a consistent way to maybe even just talk to yourself about the things that you're dreaming about, and you're really a lot more likely to remember them. Another good rule of thumb is to sleep in accordance with your REM cycle. This not only helps with having good dreams, but helps us wake up fully rested. We all know that we should get around 8 hours of sleep, right? People tell us that anywhere from 7 to 9 hours is the best kind of range, but what if I told you that sleeping 7.5 hours may be better than sleeping 8 hours? The science behind it is actually quite interesting. You go through several stages of sleep, with REM sleep being at the last stage before you start to wake up from that cycle. You go through different cycles, usually around 3 to 5 during a night, and each cycle usually lasts around 90 minutes. If you go to bed half an hour before you start that 90-minute cycle, and then wake up around the end of a 90-minute cycle, you're much more likely to feel well rested than if you had waken up in the middle of the cycle. Not only that, but you're much more likely to end up remembering your dreams. Not only that, but you're much more likely to be able to remember your dreams and communicate them properly. So let's say I want to get around 7.5 hours of sleep tonight. I would probably get in bed around 11:30, fall asleep by midnight, and set my alarm for 7:30. That way I get the full 7.5 hours, and I leave myself a little bit of leeway in the half-hour mark for myself to actually settle into a cycle. That's a big mistake I see people performing a lot of the time, where they try to live by a REM cycle and don't let themselves actually get into that REM cycle before they even start. You need to give your body ample time to actually adjust to that cycle. And this is not me telling you that you should get less sleep. Another thing to note here is that, yes, technically 6 hours of sleep may be better in terms of being well rested than 6.5 or 7. In fact, I did that a lot to hack the system during my internship, and you can hear more about that, shameless plug, in the description. But it's generally not recommended to get less than 6 or 7 hours of sleep. Go any lower and you risk not getting enough sleep to run regular bodily functions, which, no matter how well rested you might seem, it'll kind of kill you in the end. All of these tips generally help your body, your circadian rhythm, and for some who might be, have insomnia or another sleep kind of like disorder, it might be a lot harder for you guys to settle into a system like this. But by adhering to a natural circadian rhythm and the ebbs and flows of your REM cycles, you are able to dream more efficiently. The last thing I want to mention above all is that you need to be experiencing new things on a pretty regular basis, whether that be new experiences, new thoughts, new mindsets, whatever. Think about if you woke up and did the same exact thing every day, ate the same exact thing every day, saw the same people, had the same conversations, and then went to bed and did it all over again. You wouldn't have very much to dream about, would you? You haven't trained your body or brain to be elastic. You need to get in the habit of questioning things around you, whether or not things happen to be true or false. You'll remember a lot more regardless of what that answer is. Not only that, but your dreams will be more exciting and will be based off of worlds that you've observed and experienced, making them a lot easier to remember and just have fun with. It's pretty cool, right? I wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun filming it. I love dreaming. I don't know if you could tell, and I've wanted to do a video like this for a while. My dad went through a similar process when he was younger of wanting to lucid dream and train himself to dream better, and I recently went through that in the last couple of years as well, and thought I would share some of the tips that I've learned on that journey with you guys. Please let me know if you want another dream-related video in the comments. I would love to make another one. I will gladly do another deep dive, and I want to make some of these dream videos a little bit more science-y, dive into some research papers and some sleep experiments. There's a ton of crazy sleep experiments out there, so let me know if you want to see that. I also wanted to do something about how dreams work and the typical meanings that people derive from dreams and why they even got to that conclusion in the first place. But yeah, let me know if you like this video and comment down below what you'd like to see. And with that being said, this is Little Bird signing off.